All right, welcome back everybody. Today's going to be a quick video. There's not going to be any fancy slow motion shots. I want to talk about a topic that might be a little bit controversial. Some of you are going to say, no, you are wrong. But again, remember, this is just my opinion, one man's opinion, one audio lover's opinion. There's many of these opinions on the internet. This is just mine. So today, Qobuz announced and released an update to their app, Qobuz streaming service. Now, a lot of you out there use Qobuz and like Qobuz, but they never had a connect feature. Tidal and Spotify both offer a connect feature, which makes it easy just to use their own apps, right? The native streaming apps. You just press the button at the bottom, pick your streamer, and it will automatically connect. Qobuz was kind of late to the party at this, and they just released it today. In fact, I just updated the firmware on my Nagra streamer. If any of you own a Nagra streamer, there's an easy way to get the firmware update right from your phone. I made a community post on my page here with the instructions. You can check that out right there. But I want to talk today about the real snake oil of the hi-fi business. And what got me thinking about this was I own all three streaming services, Spotify, Tidal, and Qobuz. I also own a Roon subscription, but I rarely use Roon these days because I like using the Connect features. And Roon, I feel, is really for those who have a library of music of their own stored on hard drives. That's what Roon works best for, in my opinion. So if you're just streaming, for me, I prefer to use the Tidal app, the Spotify app. The Qobuz app now I can use with Connect. And the real snake oil of the hi-fi industry, and I've thought this for many, many years. Now, while I own and pay for, I don't say own, I pay for all three services, all three streaming services. Qobuz is now charging me almost 20 bucks a month. Tidal is 14 bucks a month. And I think I pay like 8 bucks or something for Spotify. And I've said this before that of all three of those services, I listen to Spotify the most, and it's mainly for two reasons. The first reason is I find their music discovery to be awesome. When I listen to music, I love going to, if there's a song I like, I love saying play radio of this song, and it plays all like related kind of familiar kind of music. I have discovered hundreds and hundreds of new artists that I now listen to just because of Spotify and their discovery feature. Now, Roon does this really well, but I find the Tidal and Qobuz apps to be lacking in this. So the second reason I mainly listen to Spotify is the sound quality. I have all three services. I listen to all three services. I've listened to all three services on so many setups in here, and I always prefer the sound quality of Spotify. But here's the thing with Spotify. It's not going to sound good, or really great, I should say. I get magical performance from Spotify. But why I get that is because not all streamers, and this is a thing, not all streamers sound great with Spotify. Some have a low volume and low dynamics for some reason. There were a few streamers I tried in the past where Spotify sounded awful. One of them, and I mentioned it in the review, was the PS Audio AirLens. While it did great for Roon and Tidal and all of that, it was not really good with Spotify at all. The sound was lacking. It would skip and freeze up. So not all streamers are the same with Spotify Connect. Now, the two streamers to me that really elevated Spotify have been the HIFi RS130, which was my favorite streamer for almost 2 years, year and a half. And then when I had the Nagra streamer in here, for me, I preferred it due to its simplicity, right? Everything was just simple. There was no app with it. All of that I talked about in the review, but the Nagra streamer sounds amazing with Spotify as well. And when I sit in my chair in here and I listen to Spotify, I get that immersiveness. I get the details, the holographic 3D stage, and Spotify sounds a little more rich or beefy, I should say. It has a little more body to it. I switch over to Tidal, which I pay more for and is high res, and I play some high res songs, and I'm hearing a little bit of a leaner sound, a little more tipped up in the treble. I don't like it as much. Today I tried Qobuz Connect, and streaming some high res songs, I was missing my Spotify. I personally feel high res audio in streaming is the real snake oil of hi-fi. Now, those of you who love your Tidal and Qobuz, that's awesome. It's personal preference, right? Some of you might like that kind of sound better. But me, I like more soul in the music, a more grooving vibe. And for me, that's what Spotify gives me, and it happens to be the least expensive. So there's a lot of people out here talking about cables are snake oil, which some of them are, but not all of them are. And all of these things that are snake oil, but I don't hear many, I hear a few, talking about how high res is snake oil. There are others that have said this, and I agree. You're paying more, and you might not be getting the better sound quality. So that's kind of crazy. I even have files here that were sent to me by someone in the industry who records music. He's very well known guy for years and years, decades. And he had sent me some files of recordings he did, as well as other really high res recordings. And I have them on a laptop. And when I play them, they sound really good. They sound clean, clear, but almost antiseptic, too analytical, too clean. I don't know how clean people want, but at some point when it gets too clean, too clear, too transparent, it takes away the soul of the music. So, some of you might have streamers that sound great with Spotify. I think the Eversolo A6 II Master Edition that I recently reviewed, that sounded excellent with Spotify. But the two best I've heard have been the HIFi Rose RS130 and the Nagra Streamer. Now, unfortunately, both of those are $5,000. Those are $5,000 streamers. But remember, there's streamers out there, I think, that go up to $50,000. Crazy, crazy hobby, right? But anyway, Spotify is my preferred streaming service of choice. Now, if you guys have Qobuz, update your app and you can try Qobuz Connect. Qobuz sounds really clean, really nice, really detailed. And I will say this. There are some albums on Tidal that I think sound better than some albums on Spotify. Like, here's one. Now, I talked about it in a recent Nagra video. When I was little, it was the first record I ever heard, and it happened to be Kiss Alive 2. Now, on Spotify, that one sounds a little muted. I don't like the quality of that one on Spotify. And on Tidal, it sounds alive, electric, and really, really good. So it's not as cut and dry as what I'm saying. But what I found in general, for 90% of the music that I like, and that's all kinds of music. I like all kinds of music. There's really no genres I don't listen to. So I like Spotify better. But there's the rare time when Tidal sounds a little bit better to me, but it's the rare occasion. So if we want to talk about snake oil, why would we pay double for a streaming service when one that's less than half the price sounds better? Well, that's simple because we all have those different tastes. We all have different preferences. My preference is for Spotify, but I get a lot of people saying, how can you evaluate gear when you listen to Spotify? Well, I listen to all three, and I even posted my Tidal playlist here before, and it's on my website if you have a hard time finding it. But yeah, Spotify sounds just as good to me, if not better. And I've done these tests with people in this room, and they have agreed with me. So if we want to talk about snake oil, let's start talking about high-res music and some of these even high-res downloads that cost a lot of money. I have a bunch of these. I never listen to them because they sound, like I said, a little bit antiseptic. Too clean, too clear. It starts to not sound like music anymore. I will stop this before I drag on. You guys know I can keep talking, but I just wanted to say that. I'm not throwing shade anywhere. It's just my opinion. Everybody on the internet has one, right? This is just mine. This is what I enjoy. So I wanted to throw that out there because a lot of people wonder how I listen to Spotify. It sounds better. And there you go. Got to have the right streamer, and it can sound magical. With that, I will leave you. I think Monday or Tuesday, I will have the review of the Moderite KWA 99s and the LS99 tubed preamp, so look out for that. And I'm awaiting delivery of those Martin speakers, which are made in Sweden. I kind of made a mistake the other day and said Switzerland. So those are coming soon, and also those speakers from Pitt and Giblin, which are the Super Wax Mini, those are coming any day now as well. So I look forward to listening to these speakers and letting you guys know how they sound. So if you like this, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.